Hello everyone, welcome back to Financial News. I'm Ron Jankowski with Channel 4, and of course we have Paul Munico from Ameriprise Financial. And Paul's going to give us a recap and a report as to what took place in this last week, Paul.
Thanks, Ron. Actually, I'm going to recap last month's activity quickly.
Okay.
We're going to do a January market recap, and we know the markets experienced a pullback, mainly amid coronavirus concerns. So on the heels of a strong 2019, U.S. equities began January by continuing that positive trend. The S&P 500 gained ground through the first 3 weeks of the month on the backs of a strong start to the fourth quarter earnings season and continued optimism regarding U.S. and China trade negotiations. These gains were wiped out, though, in the final week of the month as sentiment sharply reversed amid concerns over the coronavirus outbreak, which we've reported on every week since it's happened. Across global equities, emerging market stocks were the hardest hit by the sell-off, as the region's economy has been most affected by the virus. Commodity prices suffered to a similar degree, with the Bloomberg Commodity Index posting its largest monthly decline since July of 2015, as fears of an economic slowdown weighed heavily on energy and industrial metal prices. Precious metals, such as gold, were the only commodities to perform well during the month, as their prices rallied along with the safe haven type assets. Fears of an economic slowdown also sent investors to the relative safety of government bonds. The 10-year Treasury yield fell from 1.88% to 1.51% during the month of January, driving strong performance for government bonds and other high-quality core bond sectors. And the slowdown in business activity tied to the coronavirus, as well as inflated stock valuations, justify some concern in our view. However, we do continue to believe that a diversified portfolio with exposure to high-quality investments remains the best course for investors. And we can give you further information on what we consider high-quality investments and bonds and stocks that fit that category. Anytime you'd be interested, you can reach out to me directly, and I'll help you in that category.
Okay, and then I'm going to go on to Ameriprise Financial supplied us with the morning notes of today, and today being February 10th, 2020. These are need-to-know comments that are being made. Domestic stocks are mixed this morning as investors assess the economic impact of the coronavirus in China. Anything you want to add to that, Paul?
It's just a big story. You and I have been talking about it,
Yep.
I think, for about 3 weeks now. I just reported how it really did some damage to the January's market performance. This thing keeps spreading. They're worried about a global slowdown because of it.
Unfortunately, from what I hear and understand, is that this virus has been going on for some time, and it just has not been shared with the world, so to speak.
That one I didn't hear, but I trust you that you are reporting accurate stuff.
And any details of that I don't know much about, but I heard that comment being made that this has been an ongoing issue for some time. The other item that we are being advised on is the global stocks traded modestly weaker overnight, with Japan, Hong Kong, and the UK all seeing their respective equity benchmarks fall less than 1%. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is higher to near 1.59% ahead of the releases of President Trump's 2021 budget proposal. And Xerox, surprisingly, has boosted its offer to acquire HP to $24 per share, or about $34 billion.
Be a big acquisition. We'll be watching that one closely.
Wow, it sure will be. And the other thing that I want to mention is these are world capital markets. If you're interested in knowing where they are going, the S&P 500 is a plus 3.18%. The Dow Jones a plus 2.17%. And the NASDAQ Composite is a plus 6.09%. 6%.
Those are all year-to-date numbers. I
All
believe.
year to date, and I'm glad I may have missed saying that. So everything, it seems to be okay, even though the coronavirus is having some impact, but
It's having its impact, and it's just not done yet. That's the fears. How much more does it
Yes.
spread? How much lives does it take? When will it end? That's the unknown, and that's what frightens the market.
it sure does. I was just looking at some other information that Ameriprise Financial, I just thought I would share this with you. They shared it with us that the L Brands Incorporated is a plus 6.7%. That's the domestic pre-market movers as of this morning. And Tesla is a plus 6.4%. And HP, even though they're going through this possible change, they're a plus 5.6%. Again, that's pre-market movers, domestic as of this morning.
Yep, there's some big stocks moving. There's news on all three of those stocks. HP we talked about.
Right.
L Brands, I think, is looking to shed their Victoria's Secrets division. And Tesla has been a major market mover the last few weeks.
Oh, hasn't it been?
Today, I
Wow.
think this news has relation to the car battery and how the length of those car batteries, how long they'll last, is
Yeah, the
really
life.
positive for Tesla.
Yeah. Well, stay with us. We're going to be right back with another show called Your Money, and Paul is going to be talking about reasons to get a jump on filing your taxes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We are back with Your Money, and as I had mentioned, Paul is going to be talking about five reasons to get a jump on filing your taxes. Paul, let you take it away.
Absolutely. You know, filing your income tax return is an easy task to put off, especially with your tax forms coming, later and later in the mail, it seems like. But if you're like most people, you often wait until just before that April 15th deadline to get the job done. This year, maybe consider giving yourself a head start. And I've given Ron 5 bullet point reasons to read off about why you might want to think about that, and I'll expand a little bit on each one.
Well, the most important one is if you're going to file your tax return early, you will get a jump on getting your money back if you have a return coming.
A lot of people like that. Many people look forward to their tax returns coming. They plan on that income as part of their lifestyle. So you're right, Ron, this may be the best reason to get your tax filing done now. If you do expect to earn a refund, when you file your return, you may get your money sooner. In the past, refunds have typically been processed faster in early weeks of the filing season when the volume returns are lower. So why not get the money that's owed to you, as soon as you possibly can?
Well, if you owe money, you can wait to pay on it as well. I see you made a note here.
That's true. So if you're concerned that once you complete your tax return, you will owe additional taxes, you can still wait until the April 15th filing deadline to make your payment. By preparing your return early, you'll know in advance what your cash needs will be by the due date. However, be aware, if you forget to make your payment by the deadline, you may end up owing interest and penalties.
And if you move on this, you'll have a better grasp of your 2019 expenses, actually.
That's often overlooked, but that is a good
Yeah.
benefit. If you do plan to itemize these deductions, the sooner you start your return, the more time you'll have to gather the necessary records. Those who wait until the last minute to file too often find themselves scrambling to pull together financial documents or forget about potential deductible expenses or reportable income. By taking more time to double check your potential deductions, you may reduce your final tax bill or receive a larger refund.
And you may get more time and attention from your tax preparer early on.
That's a good point. As the tax filing deadlines approach, tax preparers, they get busy and they get overrun with demands from their clients who wait until the last minute to get their taxes done. Your preparer may have more time to help make sure everything's covered earlier in the tax season before they get closer to the deadline.
And it's a lesser risk of theft if you do this early on, and it's what I'm really trying to say, the risk is reduced.
Yeah, I mean, identity theft is a concern that probably everyone has out there. And it's a more common crime in recent years because of people filing fraudulent tax returns. Scammers may be looking to collect a tax return refund utilizing your social security number. So if you file early, you'll already have your tax return on record, and it will alert tax agencies that a second phony return may have been filed in your name.
Beautiful. A good summary of all of the things that you should be taking into consideration. And Paul, if there is a question a viewer has, your phone number.
Absolutely. Feel free to call me directly at 708-226-3412. And anyone that watches this show knows that Ron and I talk about taxes from time to time. Neither of us are tax professionals, so anything regarding taxes, you do need to speak with your tax professional about it before taking any action.
Okay, Paul, thank you again for bringing this to the viewers' attention. For Paul Munichel with Ameriprise Financial and myself, Ron Jankowski with Channel 4 in Palos Heights, we wish you good investment day.